Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Leo season. This is a reading for Taurus identified people out there. That includes Taurus Sun, Taurus Rising, Taurus Moon. If you have other placements in Taurus and you know about those archetypal or planetary energies, then this is also a reading for you. You can listen for wherever Taurus is in your chart. The first part of the reading, I'm going to offer just a kind of channeled divination, what I'm sensing from your chart or from the solar chart for Taurus in Leo season as the main messages and themes. And then I'll go through week by week and we'll think a little bit about timing of these themes and how they're rolling out. All right, Taurus, Leo is a really important energy for you. It is one of your fixed family friends. Taurus and Leo are both part of what's called the fixed cross. Fixed signs in the zodiac are immensely powerful. They represent the accumulated power of their elemental energy. Taurus, of course, is an earth sign. Taurus is in some ways the earthiest of the earth signs. It is the condensed power of earth in its fertility, in its capacity to grow and express life. Leo is the condensed power of fire. Fire resides in the core of the earth. Just as at the center of our bodies, we are the warmest and life energy extends out from there. Leo is represented often by the sun or is considered to be ruled by the sun. And in this way, we understand a central organizing principle or life force that moves through all matter. So Leo is really important for Taurus. If we think about the elemental intelligence of Taurus to nurture and create life, the heat that is in the earth and the relationship of earth to sun is absolutely essential for life to flourish. We can understand this more deeply when we consider the placement of Leo in the Taurus solar charts. The placement of Leo comes in at the root or at the bottom of the chart. And I want to say that this is feeling like a symbol for me right now of Taurus needing to connect with life force energy, with vitality, with the warmth and the heat of your heart and your body, with the warmth and the heat of the sun. And however you might access what feels life-giving and nourishing. As we move into Leo season, there is a lot of focus and concentration for you on these themes. What supports you in your life, in your constant application of your life-giving energy? What supports you has to do with your regenerative capacities and how you are able to moderate your energy from external to internal. So there's a lot of focus this season on where do you take rest? Where and who do you come home to? How are the places and the experiences in your life that feel foundational and supportive to you being crafted and created? There is a lot of creative energy for you in homemaking and family building right now, Taurus. Home and family are small words that mean enormous things. They mean really different things to all kinds of people. So I think that over the course of Leo season, it might be a good and helpful practice for you to actually be with those words and the concepts and associations and sensations and memories and ideas that you have around these words. I think that a lot of you will be served by a little bit of unpacking right now when it comes to your ideas, expectations, and assumptions about what these words mean. Family is a great one. For me, at least, my unconscious association with family, where I go to immediately, has to do with my biological family. I'm a person, like you might be, like many people are, that I don't actually find a lot of nourishment or support or creative energy with my biological family. I've experienced a fair amount of estrangement and harm. Family, in a broader sense, when I tune in with chosen family or queer family or my friend family, has a really different feeling for me. That kind of family feels creative, it feels nourishing, it feels generative. Home is also one of those things where, we might have certain ideas about what a home should be. Is a home a house, or is a home the earth? Is a home something that's outside of you, or is a home something that's inside of you? When you tune in with home and family, Taurus, what is there? What are the stories? What are the memories? What are the unconscious automatic assumptions about how or what something should be, and who should be there, and how they should be behaving, and things like that? Over the course of Leo season and as we move into Virgo season, a lot of you are taking some kind of action when it comes to the creation of home and family. I feel a lot of you are intentional at this time around what it is that you want, what you want to create, and how you want to be creative. With yourself, with your energy, with your attention, with your focus, and also with other people. And when you're creating with other people, one very important consideration is communication, because everybody has all kinds of ideas that they're carrying around about home and family. And just like you, they have all kinds of unpacked assumptions and expectations and baggage and, fantasies. And I find it consistently amazing that people who maybe don't know each other that well decide to just jump into creating home and family together. This happens all the time where people, meet, they fall in love, and it's like, oh, we're 2 years in, we're going to get married, we're going to have a family. Now, I'm not casting shade at that. I'm just astonished because home and family are so deep. And it is idea for a lot of us of some kind of like forever project. And even with the divorce rate being what it is, if you have invested that kind of time, energy, resource, if you have actually created family with another person, that's your life, right? Like that's going to significantly shape your life moving forward, whether or not those people stay in your life. Now, I want generative, life-giving, nourishing, playful, joyful, creative, full of love experiences for you in your home and with your family. And I think that you do too. This Leo season is really highlighting the feeling of home and family need to be a place where you find support, regeneration, and nourishment. The image that I have in my mind right now is a hearth and a fire where we go together to come into communion with the life-giving force. Taurus, I feel you wanting to build this fire, to cultivate it. And I think that a lot of you are trying to figure out how to do this with other people. Again, home and family can mean a lot of different things. So I don't necessarily only mean who is your spouse, or are you going to be parenting, or who are your kids or parents or something like that. Your home and your family can extend across the globe. They can have friendships and platonic intimacies with you. Your family might include people who you work with, or you might think about collaborative energy as homemaking energy when you're considering the larger home of the earth or something like that. So again, what do you want to cultivate in your home and with your family in the widest and broadest and most creative senses of the word? Other people are probably involved in this effort. And the ways that you communicate with those other people need some attention right now. Again, I think a lot of you want to unpack and clarify where folks are coming from. What are their needs, their desires, their expectations, their assumptions, etc. And Taurus, I need you working really skillfully and generously with yourself to not get your back up when people have different ideas than you. This is hard for all the fixed signs, okay? So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. It's hard for the cardinal signs, for Aries, for Libra, for Cancer, and for Capricorn. I think sometimes the mutable signs, with the exceptions of Sagittarius and maybe Virgo, and sometimes Pisces and Gemini. So that's just all the signs. You know, it's hard for us to get past what we think is right or what we think it is that we want. So if you're in conversation, in world building activities with anybody else, there's a really good chance that they probably want things that are different than what you want. They might have different ideas about how they get to similar desires that you have, etc. And Taurus, you especially, because you're a Taurus, I need you to be working skillfully with what happens when your resistance and stubbornness gets activated. Taurus, as an energetic archetypal pattern, can get very attached to what it is trying to create, right? Because you are an embodiment of earth energy, and the earth is fertile, and it's trying to create, and it's trying to be stable. And particularly when you get it in your mind that it's like, this is the thing you want, and that's the thing you're doing. And especially if you've started to plan for it, and then somebody comes along and they're like, I'm going to go that way, not actually the way that we planned. Some of y'all, your brains explode, right? And it's like, oh my God, things are not going to go as planned, or maybe we didn't even plan them together, but I had an expectation and assumption, and I was internally planning because I thought that's the way that we're going, but now you're telling me that you're not going that way. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. I don't know if that feels familiar to you, but basically any Taurus I know, that feels familiar to me with them. Also, disclosure, I have a Taurus moon. That's totally my vibe sometimes too. Skillful generosity with ourselves. Oh, wow. Okay, that feels shocking. That feels disruptive. I need to take a minute to absorb this information. I need to take a minute is your key motto and phrase right now, because you do need to take a minute or 5 minutes as things change. We are living in times of a lot of change, a lot of chaos, a lot of things breaking down, restructuring, and reorganizing. As the external world continues to be a chaotic and often heartbreaking and tragic place, full of all kinds of things that are expected and unexpected, disruptive, beautiful, creative, etc., people are adapting. Individuals in your life are changing right now. What they wanted 10 years ago might not be the thing that they want in 10 minutes. I hope that you can be generous and skillful with yourself when adaptation is required. This is a major theme, not just for Leo season, but really for the next 11 months. So until June of next year, a lot of you are really going to be well served by consciously working on your skills for adaptability. Now, intention and adaptability are wonderful partners. And I want to ground this skill building of adaptability with also the intention of intentionality. And I want to say that it's really great for you right now to have intention, to know where you want to go and what you're trying to build and what it is that you're longing for. The more that you can be with your longing and with your intention and really meditate on what do you want and why, that will help you to clarify what you don't want, which will be of great service for you as you are in connection and relationship with others who are also changing. And in the dynamic spaces between you and anyone or anything that might have to do with your home, your family, your foundation, or where you're trying to go and what you're trying to build, adaptability can help everybody reach their goal and intention. So adaptation and intentionality are really key right now. And Taurus, a lot of you have trouble changing just like on, in the moment. So when something is shifting, if plans are not working out as you thought that they would, or if other people want things that are different than you thought that they did, or if you end up changing your mind and you feel a little like jarred by it, I need a minute is going to be your friend. You can take 1 minute, 5 minutes, 24 hours, 3 weeks, however long it is that you need to work with the information that you're processing around the changes that are happening. It is totally in your best interest right now to be skillful with your reactivity. And a lot of you are highly reactive when things are changing and you're not prepared or expecting it. And that brings me to a kind of second main theme, which is preparation. Now, how do we prepare for what is unknown? The world is changing. It is, none of us are entitled, right, to a totally stable existence. That's just not what planet Earth provides. Even without all of the human created tragedy and drama, we're still dealing with gravity. Rocks are still falling off of mountains, right? Storms are still gathering in the ocean. Our bodies are still soft and fragile and prone to making mistakes. We still might eat something that is poisonous or something like that. So there are all kinds of causes of instability. Stability is not any kind of guarantee. It is not any place of permanence. And for Taurus, this can be a really hard lesson that Taurus needs to learn over and over and over and over again. Life is change. We reach one moment of stability, and then that stable situation changes and it continues to evolve. Taurus as an energy wants certainty. It likes stability. And this is just not a time that is bringing a lot of stability, at least not in the external world. And that includes other people. And to some extent, that includes your body. How can you cultivate inner stability? This is your preparation right now. You are preparing for some kind of intention. You are working towards some kinds of goals. So the preparation that you're working with throughout Leo season, and again for the next 11 months, is cultivating inner stability. That means tempering and conditioning, the capacity to weather a moment of reactivity and upset or changes in plans. That means disciplined practice attending to your inner body, to your emotions, to your mind, to your actions, reactions, and behaviors. Over the course of Leo season, your preparedness, and I mean that certainly on the inner body sense, as well as any kind of external organizing that you might be doing. There might be a sense of we are preparing to change, we are preparing to move, we are preparing for a new family member or shifting in the family structure or something like that. So there may also be external changes that are part of preparation for what you are trying to get to or what you feel is coming. But these external changes also require your internal preparedness. That's your capacity to work skillfully and generously with yourself, particularly when you feel upset or fussed or taken off guard. Finally, perspective. Perspective is key for your preparation and your adaptability. Perspective involves really taking yourself out of your singular moment and individual life. You are part of the family of things, right? The family of life here on planet Earth. You are one beautiful thread in a gorgeous tapestry of evolution and the human experience. This is a tapestry that is still being woven. The thread that you are has been created by the fibers of all of your ancestors in the human and the more than human realms. As you weave through your life, you are participating in a weaving that creates a space that the future will emerge in. The more that you can keep a big time scale in mind, the easier it will be to adapt to the changes as they happen. So if something is shifting in a particular moment, um, remembering how your ancestors have experienced and survived and moved through and creatively worked with the changes in their own lives could be informative and supportive at this time. As a particular moment emerges and you're trying to figure out how to adapt and move closer to your intention, keeping in mind the future that you are part of creating can be enormously assistive. Perspective also continues to remind us that we are not the only threads in the tapestry. The tapestry is woven with billions and hundreds of billions of other threads. And so as we weave between times and life cycles and all kinds of phenomena and experiences, remembering and recognizing that we can only meet the moment from ourselves and we can only give what is actually ours to give can also be supportive and assistive. So if someone else has a different idea of a plan and you're trying to collaborate with them, it's really not going to be useful for you to then try and control them and like coerce or manipulate the situation so they want to be part of your plan. They're their own thread. They get to weave in the ways that they get to weave. Your job is to continue your weaving, right? It's to bring the best that you can into this moment. And so, working skillfully with your attachments, with your desires for control, and your ideas about how you want things to be, and holding a big perspective around that, you can only control your own self. And sometimes not even that, right? So, where can you work to cultivate more discernment, generosity, and skill? Your perspective is so supportive. All right, so those are the main themes that are coming up for me in Leo season for Taurus. Let's now go through the season. We're going to follow the lunar cycle because Leo season begins with a full moon. We get the full moon in the last moments, literally the last minutes of Cancer season, right at the very last degree of Cancer's opposite sign, Capricorn. Capricorn, like Taurus, is an earth sign, and the following sign from Capricorn is Aquarius. And Aquarius is also a fixed sign, so part of your fixed family. Capricorn and Aquarius are both really important signs and energies for you. They resonate with you in important and core ways, elementally and through modality. And they hold the heaven of your chart. These are the highest places in your chart. They have a lot to do with how you engage the external world. Here we have ideas of your public image, your vocation, your career, your sense of purpose, your beliefs and ideologies and worldviews, and how you bring those energies through your body and into the world, and then participate with world making and legacy building. This is the part of your chart where we recognize that you are a future ancestor and that you have agency. No matter what your position is in life, you have agency to collaborate with the world as it is creating itself consistently. This full moon that begins Leo season is a full moon of culmination. There's a strong feeling energetically right now, and especially in the Taurus charts, that you need to finish something up so that you can move into the next chapter. A lot of you might have experienced over the last, I'll say several years at this point, but especially since 2020, so the last 4 years, a lot of you may have been experiencing your personal philosophies and worldviews really changing, maybe sometimes in ways that feel a little bit disturbing or fraught, because I think that many of you have made significant investments in moving on some particular path. And in the last 4 years, those investments have been challenged in some way. They've needed to transform. Now, what the transforming agents are have to do with what's happening in the world. And what's happening in the world then filters into your community. It changes your worldview, your philosophies, your belief systems, etc. One example that I think maybe a lot of you might resonate with is that since 2020 and the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic and a kind of toppling of, certain notions and concepts that uphold institutions in the world, especially those that are really founded in white supremacy and capitalism, there has been like an increasing momentum in philosophies that are kind of oriented towards rest and regeneration rather than hustle and grind. And that's a really significant cultural shift. Like if I think back to the early 2000s, I think about this kind of like cultural aesthetic, like the way that people kind of prided themselves on how busy they are and how much they're hustling, and like this grind culture that has been built into the fabric of society in so many ways that really perpetuates systems of oppression, where it's like you got to work hard for what you want. Now, of course, we need to labor in order to feed ourselves, to create home, to tend to our families, etc. But the systems of labor that most of us live inside of are systems that have been developed to create wealth for some people and poverty for a lot of more people, extracting the resources of the earth in really irresponsible ways, and basically building a kind of system where people are working constantly in order to continue producing wealth for the 1%. This is a cultural zeitgeist moment, right? Like in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, but especially the last 4 years, a lot of folks are done with these kinds of mind states and worldviews. There are multiple books and podcast episodes and teachers out there right now talking about how rest is resistance. Thank you, Trisha Hersey. There are folks that are helping us remember that when we take care of our bodies and our communities and collectives, we have enough, we have abundance. The notion of constant labor and grind and hustle doesn't actually serve us. It doesn't give us what we need. I think that a lot of you, maybe not all of you, but a lot of you have been going through your own personal version of this. So this is where what's happening in the outer world becomes a personal experience. Over the last 15 years, if you think back to 2009 or 08, you may have been in some kind of process where you were working towards achievement or ambition of some kind, where you felt hustle and grind moving through your body, where you were laboring in ways that had to do with notions of success and ambition that required you to be disembodied, disassociated, and actually violent with your own body, or maybe extractive in the world. A lot of you are no longer interested or committed to that lifestyle, and you are actively trying to figure out how to change it. And this full moon that brings us into Leo season is a full moon that is amplifying the lessons that you are learning currently about how you are participating with larger cultural change in the ways that you are pursuing your goals and ambitions. Your notions of success are dramatically shifting right now, and the ways that they are shifting have everything to do with what's happening in the collective. Even though they're personal to you and they're manifesting in a unique way that is all about your particular circumstance, what is happening for you is bigger than you. And you can find support in this. When you orient towards this transformation in the collective consciousness, and you understand that what's happening for you is something that is happening and needs to happen in larger collective spaces, that gets you resourced, and it positions you to access resource to help you in this shift and transformation. So I know that the example that I just gave in terms of like grind culture might not resonate for everybody. So please make the meaning that is meaningful for you. Take whatever I'm saying, turn it around in your own mind and experience, and notice what you're associating with. But I'm going to continue with that example because I think a lot of you will resonate with it. So as you connect in with the collective moment and the cultural zeitgeist as it is transforming, the more that you can connect with others who share these kinds of values and ideals and are working towards complementary or similar outcomes, the more you can connect with support for the ways that you are trying to change and how you are restructuring. You want to shift your life in some major ways right now. And these themes of home and family have everything to do with the ways that you're trying to shift your life. And that's part of the reason why I was saying, think expansively about what home and family mean to you and try and unpack it. Because I think that a lot of you, in this need to live in ways that are more conscious and caring of your body and the earth and others and community, are trying to feel yourself as part of something greater. The language that you have for what you're a part of may not be the language of family. You might not think of it that way, but on some kind of more subtle level, there is a feeling right now that you need to sense belonging. There is a lot of transformational energy moving through you right now that is looking for the right places, the right people, the right attitudes, energies, and ideas where you have a place, where your gifts and talents and skills are valued, where you can learn and grow and be loved and accepted for where you need to learn and grow. Um, Regardless of whether you are changing your career and vocation right now, or trying to figure out your friend group and social networks, or where you want to plug in to be of service in the world, it is absolutely essential that you get to experience qualities of belonging. So, how you work in your personal life towards creating home and family and being creative about what home and family can include directly influence how you want to be working in your more external and public life, in the places and spaces that you might identify as vocational and career oriented, or you adulting out there in the world. How you work out in the world has everything to do with your need for home and family, because it's tiring to be out there. Life is demanding, and everybody needs to be able to, put our heads down and take rest somewhere and just like let it drop for a little bit. We can't constantly be in the external. We need to come back to the internal. Everybody needs places that feel fairly safe, where they have a sense of deep belonging. So the axis between the inner and the outer, the public and the private, home and family, and like vocation and career, is an axis that is asking for a lot of attention right now, because they go together. And the more that you can tune in with how they support and inform one another, the better able you're going to be able to identify your needs and intentions, and the more skillful you're going to be when it comes to adaptation and changes that need to be made to support you in creation of home, family, vocation, legacy, lineage, world making, etc. The fourth quarter lunar cycle begins with the weekend of like the 27th and the 27th to the 29th of July. And this fourth quarter is in Taurus. So we're working with the fixed cross and the lunation cycle through Leo season. This period of time is really activating in the Taurus charts. And I think that this weekend is a weekend that feels like you benefit from being in your body. As much as you might be doing when it comes to the world out there, or the family that you're home and stuff that you're trying to attend, Taurus, your initial, original, and ongoing home is in your body. As long as you're here in a body on planet Earth, this is one place where you need to be at home and feel a sense of belonging. And Feeling a sense of home and belonging in our bodies is often fraught. We live in a world that doesn't really teach us to love our bodies or take care of them. We certainly live in a world that really layers a lot of stress and toxins into our bodies. And so this feels like an important time for you to be tending to your body. Over this weekend, if you can get outside and into nature and doing things that have you like moving your body and breathing and sensing and feeling into the environment, this will deeply support you. I think it will help open up your mind and consciousness and feel inspiring. A lot of information, intuition, insight, and ideas for what you're trying to do come in for you when you're in your body and when you're connecting with the natural world. So if you can do that for yourself around now, that would be a great thing. The more that you are able to skillfully and generously tend to your own body, heart, mind, and being, the more you are able to discern and clarify how you can skillfully and generously attend to others and to the world. There's a cycle that's beginning around now that really lasts through the end of the year that feels very deeply internal. And it feels like things are kind of shifting around in your psyche and your unconscious and your intuition, and allowing you to release and let go of ways of being that are not really authentic for you, particularly ways of being where you might be engaged in competition and comparison, or again, this kind of like hustle, grind, performativity, trying to be something that you're not, trying to prove things that it doesn't actually fucking matter. There is a feeling that I have of you are letting go of internalized expectations that have you in a place of more unconscious projection energy, where you are moving in the world in ways that aren't really aligned with your spirit, with your heart, and kind of deepest intention. From the fourth quarter to the new moon in Leo on August 4th, this is a big theme. And so I really want to invite you to pay attention to where you feel something is off, particularly when it comes to your personal expression and your projecting outward energy. This happens all the time in all kinds of different ways. So it's relational, it's work oriented, it has to do with like how you might exercise or go out into the world or how you make plans. When you feel yourself moving outwards, right, that externalizing force of your own energy, are you moving outwards from a place that is deeply centered and in your heart? Or are you moving outwards from a place that is more anchored in your ego? Our egos can be wildly insecure as well as arrogant and bombastic. They can nurture fear, competition, comparison. They can also nurture misplaced ideas of, you know, who we are and what we stand for and things like that. So this is a period of time where it's really informative for you to slow down and to notice, what is your why? What are your desires? How are you putting your energy out? And what is the vibe in that energy? Does it actually feel authentic and heartful for you? Is it coming from your true desire, or is it coming from some misplaced notion of how you should be, etc.? From the new moon to the first quarter, so from August 4th through August 12th, rest. This is a very important time, I think, for a lot of people to be resting, especially the earth signs. Mercury will be stationing retrograde on the day of the new moon in your fellow earth sign Virgo. It's going to be retrograding back into the later degrees of Leo, where it will station direct in the end of August. This first week of Mercury's retrograde, this first week of the new lunar cycle, really takes you into a very deep and internal space. This is a great time for you to not be doing a lot of external stuff. If you have access to vacation time, use it now. If you don't, make sure that you are giving yourself a lot of permission to be quiet, to take naps, to cancel plans. This is a really good time to be with yourself, to be with people who you feel safe and familiarity with, where you're not needing to perform, where you're not needing to hustle, where you're not needing to like labor a lot, but you can just be. And in the just beingness for Taurus, that's where the brilliance is. Taurus, out of all of the signs, I would say, is the one that benefits the most from really just being. And the just beingness is a place where I think you receive a lot of information about what it is that you want to be doing. But when the beingness and the doingness get separated from one another, then Taurus, more than any other sign, I think feels really kind of distraught. So this is a time for you to just be as much as you possibly can. Now, the last 10 days of Leo season, from the first quarter on August 12th through the new moon on August 19th and into the beginning of Virgo season on August 22nd, are packed astrologically. In the 2024 year ahead readings that I've done for every sign, you might be interested in listening to yours. I also did a reading for the collective. This is the period of time in the year where I kept saying things are really heating up. Now, considering the year that we've already had, that's kind of a big statement. It is a super intense quality of time right now. And astrologically, there are so many things happening in this span of days. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details of them, but I will say that you need the time off of the week before so that you can show up energetically for this window of time. So again, the 12th through the 22nd or so, especially let's say the 15th through the 20th. You need energy for this time. So you need to prepare, right? Preparation to meet what is coming up. So what is coming up is going to be different for everybody, but it does look to me that there is a significant kind of external demand right now. Some of you might be really needing to mobilize your energy in new and different ways, or in ways that are just picking up the pace and intensifying. There is a lot of focus on what you're doing, how you're getting there, and who you're going with. That focus is counterbalanced by this feeling of what supports you. Where do you get to come home and rest? What do you need to help you generate and regenerate the energy that you're putting out into the world? This is also a period of time when a lot of you are really in some kind of space about your intentions and your goals. How do you get to where you want to go that is not here yet? There's a feeling of the future that is starting to press in on you in some pretty significant ways. And it is asking you to get organized and consolidated with your resources. So as you think about what's coming up, what do you need to get there? This definitely could have to do with money, finances, and budgeting. This definitely could have to do with any other kinds of resources that you can imagine. That includes human resources and relationships and agreements. That includes intellectual resources and information. That includes your attention. One of the most important resources that any of us have when it comes to what we're trying to build in the world is our attention. We can have all kinds of intentions, but if we don't have attention and focus, we're not going to be able to succeed. So your capacity to focus and concentrate is absolutely required. And over the next 11 months, from July 2024 through June of 2025, you have a window to prepare yourself to do something. I don't know what it is for you, but you see the future, you feel the future, you're trying to get somewhere. And Taurus, how are you going to get there? If you can't pay attention, you're not going to be able to get there. What can help you pay attention? Making sure that you have time and space to rest, taking care of your body, and working skillfully and generously with yourself when you get in a tizzy. If something is upsetting to you, noticing, oh, that's upsetting, doing what you need to do. Maybe you got to shake your body out or go for a walk or scream into a pillow or something like that. But then focus. Material resources for sure. Okay, so finances, attention, energy, information, communication, and any kind of material resources or possessions that you might be able to work into some kind of configuration that will assist and support you in getting to the place that you want to get to. These are big themes, especially around the full moon on August 19th. Now, I don't want you to feel like you have to figure it all out that weekend. 11 months till June of 2025. This is the time span that you have to be in this kind of experimenting, working, reworking, figuring out how to shift things around, how to put your attention on something so that you can adapt and prepare and work with the perspective that you have that's evolving so that you can achieve your desired outcomes. The world is changing dramatically over these next 11 months. You have to be ready and willing to change with it. If you know what it is that you're trying to work towards and you really can feel the energetic quality of your intention, it will help guide you in the ways that you are going to need to be adaptable in reaching that. Your communication with anybody that you're working with is key at this time, especially over the course of Mercury's retrograde from August 4th through the 28th, and even extending into the shadow. So from mid-July, it's already begun until mid-September. Be willing to have the conversations that might feel a little scary sometimes, because not everybody is going to have the same ideas, needs, desires, etc. as you do. But those conversations will be clarifying, and they will help you figure out how adjustments can be made and what adjustments need to be made so that you can reach your desired goal. All right, Taurus, over the course of Leo season, Embodied Astrology has a lot of support for you. So I hope you'll stick with me for the next couple of minutes. I'm going to tell you about what's coming up at EA, and this will give me an opportunity to keep talking about your astrology. Every single Monday from 8 to 9:30 a.m. Pacific, you can find me on Zoom in somatic space. This is my weekly class where I play with astrology as a somatic score. We do practices that prepare us for the week ahead. And these practices are integration practices for the mind, body, heart, and soul. They are practices that work with our inner bodies and our energy fields. They are deeply nourishing and healing practices. They are adaptable, they're creative. The community that comes together for these classes is so wonderful and supportive and fun. We would love to have you join us. You can drop in, you can get a membership, you can just try it out and see if you like it. My experience after teaching this class now for over a year and a half is that it has benefited me in exponential ways. Doing practices every week that help me prepare for the week energetically benefit me on multiple levels, and I can feel it supporting me throughout the week. And I've heard this feedback from the folks who come. A lot of people have been there and they keep coming back. So there's something that is truly beneficial, and it would be great to have you join us. On August 3rd, which is the day before the new moon in Leo, I'll be joining Gabs 404, one of Embodied Astrology's faculty, in their space called the Nebula Lab. Gabs is a photographer and an artist. They're also someone who's really interested in information technologies and the ways that information, and particularly visual information, shape consciousness in the world. In the Nebula Lab, they're looking at Neptune as an astrological symbol and generational cycle, and how over the course of Neptune's 165-year orbit, I think is what it is, there are particular kind of cohorts or generations of consciousness. Now, when we work with Neptune in our individual charts, we are able to tap into the generational cohort energy and understand something about how each of us as individuals is part of a larger dream, how we bring through our subtle intuition, inspiration, and connection with the unseen realms and forces. So in my presentation with Gabs, I'll be focusing on Neptune in the natal chart and how you can work with it personally. You don't have to have any prior experience in astrology to come to the workshop, but learning to work with Neptune is really supportive, particularly when it comes to focusing and being able to ground and center in intention. Intention and desire are part of the dream, and how we work with the unseen, with the dreams, with our longings, etc., has a lot to do with Neptune. Later in the month, on August 18th, Sherry Taylor will initiate a new cycle of 3 sessions in a devotional series that focuses on working with the planet Saturn as it transits through the sign Pisces. Sherry has been working with this influence for the last 2 years, and over the course of 2024 and into 2025, she's offering several 3-part devotional cycles. If you sign up for the whole cycle of 3 sessions, you are going to be taken on a journey of inner inquiry and process that help you organize around your intentions and your dreams in some really deep ways. This particular cycle begins with a guest that she's bringing in just for August 18th named Renee. Anders is a fabulous astrologer who focuses on vocational astrology. Taurus, I've been talking about how your vocation is a point of focus right now, and what you want to bring into the world is asking for some transformation. I've also been talking about your future and this kind of preparatory energy that you're working with. And both of these influences are what Sherry and Anders are going to be working with on August 18th. And I think that this workshop would really be of benefit to you, especially those of you that are trying to figure out what the intentions are and what it is that is trying to transform in your worldly offerings or vocational experiences. 2 days later, the day after the full moon, on August 20th, Janata Petrus will be holding her monthly full moon space called Artistic Alchemy. Every month, Janata holds this space of exploration of the axis of polarity that the full moon is representing. This season, we're working with the Leo-Aquarius axis. As I've already talked about, Leo and Aquarius are your fellow fixed family friends. Leo and Aquarius together hold the root and the heaven of your chart. They define the vertical axis for Taurus. So all these themes about home, family, belonging, and also external work in the world, vocation, career, public image, your legacy, etc. All of those themes have so much to do with Leo and Aquarius in your chart. Janata spaces are meant to help you live creatively. Artistic Alchemy is definitely for any particular artistic projects you may be working on, but more importantly, it's for living in ways that are full of artistry. In Janata spaces, she's offering prompts and practices to help you tap in and tune in with creative intelligence as it moves through you. These are spaces that are also really supportive community spaces. The folks that come are so sweet, so generous, and such generative inspiration comes through. Finally, Taurus, the end of October 24th through 27th, I would love to invite you to come be with me in person. I'll be co-facilitating a 4-day retreat with my friends and colleagues, Ramon and Michelle Gabrieloff Parrish. This 4-day retreat is happening in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains at the Eco Dharma Center. Ramon and Michelle are longtime activists and organizers. They have worked really deeply in the realms of food and environmental justice. They're doing a lot of work right now around community preparedness and transition. They also are deeply spiritual people who work with mind-body intelligences and do a lot of communion practice between our bodies and nature and the unseen realms. We're going to be working together with astrology and embodied practice with astrology to help us really engage with the transformation that is happening in the world right now, to think about how we want to participate in the shaping and reimagining of the world as the world is changing. We would love to have you there. And if you're interested, you can find more information on the Body of Stars retreat at embodiedastrology.com. You can find information about all of our current and upcoming events. Definitely follow us on our social media platforms. You can find us at Embodied Astrology on Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you stream your podcasts. Taurus, I'm wishing you all the best in Leo season and beyond. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.